Let me ask you something that might sting a little. Why do so many older men with life experience, success, and wisdom, still get ghosted by younger women who were clearly into them at first? You've probably been there. She smiled at you, laughed at your jokes, maybe even gave you her number. And then, nothing. Silence, disinterest. Or worse, she says, "You're nice," and moves on to someone younger, less stable, maybe even broke. Why? Because it's not about your age. It's about your habits, subtle behaviors that turn you from an intriguing man into a forgettable one. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. If you're over 50 and interested in younger women, you're already ahead of the game, if you play it right. But if you're making even one of these 7 mistakes, you're sabotaging yourself before the attraction even begins. This video isn't another list of cheesy tips or surface-level advice. We're going deep into the psychology, into the real reason why younger women lose interest in older men, and more importantly, how to reverse it. Stick with me through this. I'll show you exactly what's turning her off and how to flip the script so she starts chasing you. Because here's the truth. Age doesn't disqualify you, weak energy does. Let's fix that. Number 1. Don't try to be young. Let's get real for a second. You're not 25 anymore, and that's not a weakness. That's your edge. But the moment you start chasing youth in how you dress, how you speak, even how you flirt, you lose the one thing that actually attracts younger women: grounded, confident maturity. Let me paint a picture. Richard is 52, divorced, successful, and recently started seeing Anna, a 9-year-old graphic designer. On paper, he checks every box: financially secure, well-spoken, experienced. But instead of leading with that calm, masculine energy, Richard starts dressing like a 20-something, using slang he barely understands, and texting emojis like he's in high school. Anna notices, and trust me, it's not endearing, it's a turn-off. Why? Because when a man tries to look or act younger than he is, it doesn't say fun, it screams insecure. Women can smell it instantly. A younger woman isn't looking for someone to blend in with her friend group. She's drawn to someone who knows who he is and doesn't need to perform. She wants presence, not pretending. There's nothing sexier to a woman in her 20s or 30s than a man in his 40s or 50s who owns his age. When you walk into a room with tailored clothes that fit your frame, when you speak with calm instead of hype, when your humor is sharp without trying too hard, she pays attention. You don't have to compete with younger men. You've already won if you just stay in your lane. Let's take another example. Greg, 57, met Alicia, 32, at a wine tasting event. What pulled her in wasn't his six-pack or the fact that he knew TikTok trends. It was how he listened without rushing to speak, how he made decisions without needing her approval. She told a friend later, "It felt like I was with someone who had nothing to prove." That's your lane, and it's powerful, but only if you stop trying to chase something you've already outgrown. There's a big psychological shift here. When a man tries to appear younger, what he's actually signaling is that he thinks his age is a disadvantage, and if you believe that, so will she. Women don't fall for age. They fall for certainty, stability, and self-assurance, and you only radiate that when you stop comparing yourself to men 20 years younger and start acting like the king you are. So here's the truth. When you stop trying to act younger, you instantly become more magnetic. You don't have to change who you are to connect with her, you just have to stop hiding it. Because the kind of woman who's truly drawn to older men isn't looking for a peer. She's looking for a man who can lead. And the irony? The moment you stop trying to relate, she starts chasing you. Now I want to hear from you. If you're a man who's over 40, drop a comment below and write, "I lead with presence." Let the world know you're not here to play small. And stick around, because what I'm about to share next is where most men really blow it, even after a strong first impression. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. Number 2, stop acting like her dad. Let's be honest, when you're dating a younger woman, it's easy to slip into a role you didn't ask for, the father figure. Not because she wants that, but because you might unconsciously fall into it. You start giving advice she didn't ask for. You start correcting her choices. You start guiding her as if she's your teenage daughter. That might feel helpful, but to her, it feels controlling and deeply unattractive. Meet Frank. He's 58, a successful real estate developer from Arizona. Recently divorced, he began dating Mia, a 30-year-old yoga instructor he met at a business networking event. At first, the energy was exciting. She admired his confidence. He was calm, intentional, decisive, everything she wasn't used to in guys her age. But slowly, things shifted. He started telling her what to eat. "That smoothie's all sugar, you know." He corrected her pronunciation when she misused a word. He even suggested she should reconsider her career path because it won't lead anywhere long-term. On paper, Frank thought he was helping her grow. In reality, Mia started to feel small around him, infantilized, like she had to justify every choice. Now here's the catch. Frank wasn't trying to control her, but he was leading with superiority instead of connection. He didn't realize that while he had decades of life experience, what Mia wanted wasn't a second father. She wanted a man who could inspire her by example, not instruction. There's a key difference between leadership and control. You lead through action, you control through correction. And when you step into that dad energy, you're not leading, you're parenting. Younger women are drawn to older men, not for discipline, but for depth. They want to feel held emotionally, not managed behaviorally. If she makes a mistake, let her. That's her path. You're not her safety net or her rule book. You're the man beside her, not above her. Let's look at another example. Robert, 54, started seeing Jenna, a 33-year-old artist. He had two choices: micromanage her chaotic schedule and suggest she be more productive, or simply admire her freedom and bring order to his own life. He chose the second path, and it changed everything. Instead of correcting her lifestyle, he invited her into his morning gym sessions, healthy dinners, peaceful weekends. Jenna felt inspired, not obligated to step up her game. That's real masculine influence, leading silently, not lecturing loudly. When you act like her dad, you kill the spark. She starts editing herself. She walks on eggshells. The flirtation turns into resistance, and eventually she pulls away. Not because you weren't fun enough, but because you weren't equal enough. You want to be the man she respects, not reports to. So, what's the mindset shift? Start observing instead of correcting. When she rants about her job or makes impulsive decisions, resist the urge to fix her life. Instead, ask questions. Get curious. Be the man who listens and reflects, not the man who teaches and scolds. The most magnetic thing you can do as an older man is be solid. Don't mold her, don't guide her. Just hold your ground, and she'll naturally find herself wanting to match it. That's how attraction grows. That's how trust builds. Remember, your age is your edge only if you stop using it as a weapon. She doesn't want protection from you, she wants possibility with you. Now, if you're a man who's been tempted to teach your way into love, drop a comment below and say, "I lead by example." Say it loud. Let that be the energy you bring from now on. And if you think this was the hard truth, wait until you hear what's next. It's something most men never even notice they're doing. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Keep watching. Number 3. Don't try so hard. Let's cut straight to it. Trying too hard doesn't make you more desirable. It makes you look desperate. And nothing turns a younger woman off faster than a man who's bending over backward just to be liked. This mistake shows up subtly. It's not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's the guy who overcompliments. Sometimes it's the man who laughs too loud at her jokes. Sometimes it's the one who keeps picking up the check, over-texting, or agreeing with everything she says. On the surface, it looks like being nice, but underneath, it reeks of insecurity. Let me tell you about Carl, 52, an experienced business coach from Chicago. After his divorce, he started dating again and met Brianna, 28, an energetic bartender finishing her master's degree. Carl was intelligent, well-dressed, and carried himself with calm authority at first. But very quickly, Brianna noticed a shift. Carl seemed too available. He texted good morning every day without fail. He cancelled his workout plans to meet up with her. If she mentioned liking Thai food, he booked the best Thai restaurant that same night. It wasn't romantic, it felt reactive. And Brianna, she lost interest fast. Why? Because when a man overextends to gain her approval, he's telling her without saying a word, "You're above me. I need to earn you." Younger women want confidence, not compliance. They don't want you to give up your identity to win them over. They want to be invited into your world, not become the center of it. That only happens when you stand firm in your values, your lifestyle, your routine with or without her. Take another example. Marcus, 49, a New York architect. He met Danielle, 32, at an art gallery. She was drawn to how grounded he was. When she texted him midweek to hang out, he replied, "I've got a big pitch Friday. I need to be sharp. Let's do something this weekend." Firm, polite, unapologetic. Danielle respected that. It showed her that Marcus had a life of his own. He wasn't orbiting around her. That's attractive. That's masculine. Here's the key. Attraction isn't built through availability. It's built through presence. When you're fully in your lane, living a life that excites you, you become magnetic. But the second you start tap dancing for her affection, she sees it, and it kills the tension, the mystery, the pull. This isn't about playing games. It's about posture. It's about understanding your worth. When a woman feels like she has you too easily, her biology kicks in and it tells her, this man is safe, but he's not exciting. Excitement comes from tension. Tension comes from contrast. That means you have to remain centered, grounded, not performative. Now, this doesn't mean being rude or cold. It means being selective, purposeful, real. You don't need to impress her with expensive dinners, flashy gestures, or constant praise. What impresses her is a man who doesn't need her validation, a man who likes her but doesn't need her to like him back. So, if you've been the guy trying a little too hard, take a step back. Let her meet you halfway. Let her wonder about you. Let her chase a bit. Because when she feels she's earned your time, she values it more. Gentlemen, you are not here to audition. You're not her entertainer. You're the man. And that means you bring value. You create space. You lead the energy. And if she doesn't match it, you move on quietly and confidently. Now, if you're ready to stop chasing and start choosing, I want you to comment below right now. I move with purpose. That's your new code. That's your frame. And listen, what comes next might make you uncomfortable because it flips the script on what we've been taught about pleasing women. But when you get this right, everything changes. Keep watching. Number 4, being too nice backfires. Let's get something straight. Being nice isn't the problem. But when nice becomes your entire personality, that's when it becomes unattractive, especially to a younger woman. Too many older men think the way to win her over is by being agreeable, compliant, overly generous. They think if they never argue, if they shower her with compliments, if they do everything right, she'll stick around. But in reality, that kind of nice guy energy pushes her away fast. Let me give you an example. James is 56, a successful dentist from Florida. Divorced for a few years, he started dating again and met Kayla, 31, on a dating app. She was sweet, playful, into yoga and hiking, and clearly intrigued by James's life experience and confidence. But within weeks, things changed. James went from confident to overly accommodating. Every decision became, whatever you want. He'd cancel plans with friends if Kayla texted last minute. He started texting multiple times a day to check in. And when she said she wasn't sure how she felt yet, he said, "That's okay. Take all the time you need, I'll wait." Now, to an older man, that sounds respectful. To a younger woman, it screams one thing: this man has no boundaries. She didn't feel the strength, the mystery, the challenge. See, when you're too nice, you don't just come off as polite, you come off as spineless. And that, for most women, especially younger ones, is a deal breaker. Now, contrast that with Robert, 49, an interior designer in Austin. He met Savannah, 29, at a networking event. They connected, had great chemistry. But Robert didn't try to impress her. He wasn't rude, he was polite, but firm. He said no when she invited him to something that didn't interest him. He challenged her opinions playfully. He flirted without fawning. And when she pulled back emotionally for a few days, he didn't chase, he gave her space. And what happened? Savannah came back stronger. Because Robert's strength made her feel safe, his boundaries made her feel drawn in. That's the paradox most men over 45 don't get. The more you sacrifice yourself to please her, the less she values you. Now, why does this happen? Because younger women, consciously or not, are testing your masculine core. They want to know, can this man hold his ground? Does he have a spine? Is he someone I can lean on, or someone who leans on me? And if you're too nice, always agreeable, never assertive, endlessly available, you're telling her, I need you more than you need me. That kills attraction. This isn't about becoming a jerk. It's about reclaiming your edge, your masculine polarity, your self-respect. Being firm doesn't mean being harsh. Saying no doesn't mean being mean. It means having standards and sticking to them. And when you do, you stop attracting women who want to control you and start attracting women who respect you. So, if you're over 45 and you've been playing the super nice guy card thinking it'll score you points, it won't. In fact, it's likely the very thing that's pushing her away. Be kind, be respectful, but be strong, be centered, be someone who isn't afraid to walk away if the energy feels off. And if you're watching this thinking, man, I've done this before, good. Awareness is step one. From here on out, you lead with grounded confidence, not approval, seeking behavior. Comment below. I lead with strength. That's your new standard, your line in the sand. And don't go anywhere. The next shift we're diving into will completely change how you show up in conversation. You'll see why what you say isn't nearly as powerful as how you say it. Stay with me. Number 5. Too many texts kill attraction. Let's be honest, texting has become the new comfort zone for most guys over 45. It's easy, it's instant, and it feels like a low-risk way to stay connected. But when it comes to dating younger women, texting too much doesn't build interest. It kills it. You know why? Because attention that's too available loses its value fast. And with younger women who are constantly bombarded with digital attention, your texts can go from exciting to exhausting in record time. Let me tell you about Eric. He's 52, a divorced business owner from Seattle. He met Nicole, 33, through a mutual friend at a wine tasting. She was witty, energetic, and clearly intrigued by his confidence and calm demeanor. The first date went great. They laughed, flirted, and even made plans to see each other again. But here's where it fell apart. The next morning, Eric texted her, "Hey beautiful, I had a great time last night." An hour later, "Thinking of you. Hope work's not too crazy today." 1. That night, "Wanna grab dinner tomorrow? I know a great sushi place." Over the next few days, Eric sent dozens of messages, updates about his day, links to articles, funny memes, questions about her plans. Nicole responded, politely, but with less and less enthusiasm. By the end of the week, She ghosted. Now, Eric was confused. He wasn't pushy. He was sweet, thoughtful, interested. What went wrong? Here's what he didn't realize. Constant texting didn't make him more appealing, it made him predictable, boring, and a little needy. Younger women want a man who's in motion, not a man glued to his phone waiting for a reply. The mystery disappears when she knows she can get your attention anytime she wants. And once that chase is gone, so is the spark. Compare that to someone like Marcus, 48, a photographer from San Diego. He met Julia, 29, at a beach shoot. They flirted, exchanged numbers, and after a brief message confirming a time, he didn't text again until the day of their date. She showed up curious, engaged. Why? Because he wasn't throwing all his cards on the table through emojis and good morning texts. He let the anticipation build. He made her wonder what he was up to. That's the game most older men forget. You're not here to win her over with volume. You're here to create polarity, and that comes from space, not saturation. Now, I'm not saying never text her, but texting should have a purpose, to confirm plans, to be playful occasionally, or to escalate towards something real, not to fill the silence. Because when you use texting to fill the gaps, what you're really doing is seeking reassurance. You're looking for connection through convenience, not presence. And women, especially younger women, can feel that. And trust me, they're not attracted to it. So here's the shift. If you want to be the man who stands out, be the man who knows when to step back. Let her miss you. Let her wonder. Let her want to reach out. That tension, that curiosity, that's what pulls her in. Because when you're a man in motion, focused on your own life, not constantly waiting for the phone to buzz, you become rare. And in a world full of digital noise, rarity is irresistible. So if you've been the guy sending paragraph texts, checking your phone every 5 minutes, or filling her inbox to stay connected, stop. Less texting, more presence, fewer words, more impact. Comment below. I move with purpose. Let her feel that energy, not through your thumbs, but through your silence. And up next, we're going to talk about one of the most overlooked behaviors that instantly ages a man in her eyes. And no, it's not about your clothes or your hair. Stick around. You'll want to hear this. Number 6. Don't buy her time. Let's get one thing straight. A younger woman spending time with you doesn't mean you've won her interest, especially if she's only showing up when you're the one paying. That's not attraction, that's a transaction. And the moment you make her time something that can be bought, you've already lost the frame. Too many men over 45, successful, smart, hard-working, fall into this trap. You've got money, you've built a life, and naturally, you want to share it. So when a younger woman enters the picture, you treat her to nice dinners, expensive cocktails, spa weekends, concert tickets, all with the hope she'll see your value. But here's the reality. If the only reason she's showing up is because she's getting a 5-star experience, you're not a man to her, you're a wallet. Let me give you an example. David, 57, a retired finance consultant from Phoenix, started dating Alyssa, 31. They met at a mutual friend's birthday party. He was charming, confident, well-dressed, the kind of presence that turns heads without trying. She seemed interested, and they started seeing each other. But David made one critical mistake. He led with his lifestyle, not his personality. From the first date, he took her to Michelin star restaurants, followed by wine tastings, designer gifts, even flew her to Vegas for a weekend getaway after just 2 weeks of texting. On the surface, Alyssa was all smiles, posting selfies, tagging him, saying all the right things. But when David stopped treating, the connection fell apart. She got busy. The texts slowed down, and eventually, she vanished. What happened? Simple. There was no real connection, just a paid experience. The moment the perks stopped, so did her interest. Now, let's compare that with James, 49, a construction project manager from Denver. He met Lauren, 28, through a hiking group. On their first date, he took her to a quiet, no-frills cafe, nothing flashy, just good conversation, eye contact, and relaxed energy. He didn't try to impress with money, he impressed with presence. As the weeks went on, James stayed consistent. He paid for dinner, sure, but it wasn't about showing off. He listened, challenged her ideas, made her laugh, and most importantly, didn't treat her time like it had to be purchased. He made her feel chosen, not bought, and Lauren responded with respect, curiosity, and genuine desire. Why? Because James wasn't trying to win her with his wallet. He let his masculine energy lead, not his bank account. That's what too many older men forget. If you're paying to keep her attention, you're teaching her that your value is external, surface level, conditional. And once that dynamic sets in, attraction dies. So what should you do instead? Be generous but intentional. If you're taking her out, it should be because you want to enjoy something, not because you think it'll make her stay. Your presence is the value, not the wine, not the sushi. You. Because when a younger woman senses that a man values himself enough not to chase with his credit card, she sees confidence, she sees leadership, she sees worth. And that's what keeps her curious. So the next time you're tempted to go big, just to keep her interested, ask yourself, is this creating connection or covering insecurity? Because if you have to pay for her attention, you'll always be paying. But if you lead with presence, challenge, and calm confidence, she'll chase that for free. Comment below. I am the value. Say it, believe it, live it. And coming up next, we're going to uncover the silent mistake most men don't even realize they're making, but it kills attraction the moment it starts. Stay with me. You need to hear this. Number 7. Don't be her therapist. Here's the thing many older men get wrong when dating younger women. They confuse emotional availability with emotional service. You're not her therapist. You're not her crisis hotline. And if you keep acting like one, you'll watch attraction quietly disappear. It usually starts off innocent. You're having a drink with her. She starts talking about her past, the ex who cheated, the toxic boss, her anxiety, her unresolved family drama, and because you're experienced, empathetic, maybe even a little flattered that she's confiding in you, you lean in, you listen, you give advice. You tell her she deserves better, that she's stronger than she thinks. And right there, that's where you begin sliding into the wrong role. Let me give you a real-world example. Steve is 54, divorced, owns a successful HVAC company in Sacramento. He met Rachel, 31, at a local wine tasting. Their chemistry was instant. She was vibrant, fun, curious. But within the first few weeks, their dynamic shifted. Every conversation started to sound like a therapy session. Rachel would call late at night, emotionally unraveling, talking about her loneliness, how no one understands her, how she never feels safe in relationships. Steve, being the decent man he is, felt responsible, so he'd stay on the phone with her for hours. He'd cancel gym sessions, skip out on plans with friends, all to be there for her. But here's the harsh truth. She didn't fall for him. She didn't even see him as a man anymore. She saw him as comfort, emotional padding, a release valve. The intimacy was one-sided, all output, no spark. Now contrast that with another man, James, 49, a high school principal in Austin. James met Brianna, 28, through mutual friends. Early on, she tried to overshare, spilling emotional baggage on their second date. But James didn't try to fix her. He smiled and said, I get that you've been through some things, but let's not unpack all that right now. Let's enjoy the moment, you and me, right here. That moment, that boundary, it kept the mystery alive. It showed leadership. It showed he wasn't there to solve her emotional life. He was there to build connection, not absorb chaos. Women don't want a man who's drowning in their feelings with them. They want a man who can weather their feelings, who remains grounded even when they swirl. And that's the critical shift. When you keep showing up as the guy who always listens, always comforts, always reassures, you're teaching her that you're a source of relief, not desire. And no matter how good your intentions are, it's attraction that suffers first. You might think that makes you caring, noble, different from the rest. But to her, it feels heavy, one-sided, non-sexual. You become dependable, but not magnetic. So if you catch yourself slipping into the therapist role, hit pause. Ask yourself, is she actually getting to know me? Or am I just her sounding board? Are we building connection? Or am I just her emotional outlet? The shift you need isn't coldness, it's clarity. You can care without coddling. You can listen without absorbing. When she spirals, you can gently say, let's come back to this another time. Right now, I just want to enjoy being with you. That's the kind of leadership she feels. That's what builds respect. That's what reignites polarity. So before you dive into her emotional mess, remember you're not here to fix her. You're here to lead the dynamic. Now, if that hits home, type in the comments, I lead the energy. Let's see who's really showing up in their masculine. And stay locked in. The next point is the silent killer of attraction for older men, and almost no one sees it coming. Number 8. Stay out of her drama. Here's something that'll save you years of frustration, confusion, and wasted energy with younger women. You do not need to participate in her drama to be seen, heard, or loved. Let's make this clear. Not every woman is dramatic. But when you're dating someone younger, especially someone still figuring herself out emotionally, drama can show up like clockwork. Mood swings, passive-aggressive texts, mysterious silences, sudden arguments over things that don't even make sense. And if you're not grounded in yourself, you'll get pulled in before you even realize what's happening. Let me paint a picture. Mark, 52, runs a marketing agency in Tampa. He started seeing Alyssa, 27, a yoga instructor who was bright, full of life, and intense. Within 3 weeks, Mark was already navigating text rants, late-night guilt trips, and sudden emotional outbursts about not being prioritized. Instead of stepping back and assessing, Mark leaned in. He sent more texts. He tried to clarify, to smooth things over, to play mediator between her emotions and his intentions, but it never helped. It just fed the storm. The more he tried to help her feel better, the worse it got. Why? Because once you make her drama your problem, you stop being a man and start being her emotional punching bag. Here's what a better version looks like. Derek, 48, is a construction project manager in Denver. He was dating Lexi, 29, who had a habit of testing emotional waters, throwing mini tantrums when he didn't respond fast enough, or subtly trying to make him jealous. One night, after Lexi made a snide remark about an ex who used to actually listen, Derek didn't raise his voice. He didn't explain himself. He simply said, "If you want attention like that, you're looking at the wrong man." And he left the dinner table. The next day, Lexi apologized. The drama stopped. Why? Because Derek showed he doesn't play that game. He values peace more than approval. And that's what made her respect him and feel safe around him. You see, drama in younger women isn't always malicious. Sometimes it's just a way to feel something, to test the waters, to see where the emotional line is. But it's not your job to fix it or swim in it. Your job is to anchor down. When she throws chaos at you, don't respond with more energy. Respond with calm. Don't argue. Don't over-explain. Don't match her emotions. Let her energy fall flat against your stability. That's what turns heads. Because while she may be used to boys who bark back or collapse under pressure, a man who stays composed when things get messy, that's magnetic, that's rare, that's attractive. And here's the real kicker. When you refuse to engage in her drama, she either evolves or exits. Both are wins. So, the next time she goes cold for no reason, or tosses a jab to get a reaction, or tries to rope you into an emotional maze stop, take a breath. Ask yourself, does this require my energy? If the answer is no, disengage. Let her sort it out. Don't be cruel. Be clear. Be firm. And most importantly, be busy with your own life. Drama thrives in empty space. When you're too available, too involved, or too reactive, you invite more of it. But when you stay grounded, focused, and unbothered, she starts to feel that presence, that power, that weight of a man who doesn't bend with every gust of emotion. You don't tame drama by controlling her, you tame it by controlling yourself. If you're the kind of man who stays above emotional storms, drop it in the comments. I don't chase chaos. And trust me, what's coming up next separates real men from emotional entertainers. Stay right there. Number 9. Be a bit mysterious. Let me tell you something. Most guys over 45 don't realize until it's too late. When you reveal everything too quickly, you kill the spark. You see, mystery isn't about playing games or being cold. It's about restraint. It's about having depth that she can feel but not fully grasp. And trust me, younger women, especially those used to guys constantly texting, explaining, oversharing, are drawn like magnets to a man they can't completely figure out. Let's take an example. Gary is 54, a financial consultant from Phoenix. He started dating Brianna, 30, who was smart, fun, and beautiful. First few dates went well, but Gary, eager to keep her interest, started opening up about everything. His past relationships, daily schedule, work frustrations, his entire backstory from high school to now. Texts in the morning, texts at lunch, texts at night. Brianna slowly lost interest, not because Gary wasn't a good guy, but because he left no tension, no curiosity. She knew everything. And when there's nothing left to explore, attraction fades fast. Now compare that to someone like Jason, 50, a divorced engineer from Seattle. When he met Danielle, 29, at a networking event, their conversations were light, thoughtful, but never overly revealing. Jason never volunteered his life story. He listened more than he talked. He mentioned he practiced meditation but didn't explain how. He hinted at past travels but didn't list countries. When she asked about his previous relationships, he simply smiled and said, "I've lived, learned, and moved forward." That mystery, it drove Danielle wild. Why? Because Jason didn't lay it all out. He gave her just enough to be intrigued and made her want to uncover the rest. It wasn't a trick, it was presence, confidence, control. You don't have to be secretive. Just don't be an open book. Keep some of yourself tucked away. Make her ask questions. Let her lean in. You want to know the truth. Women value what they have to work a little to access. Not because they're manipulative, but because attraction thrives on polarity, on the unknown, on the possibility that there's more to this man than what's on the surface. You're not here to impress her with everything you've done. You're here to be a man she can't stop thinking about. The one who doesn't chase. The one who lets silence speak for him. Let her wonder where you're going. Let her guess how you feel. Let her be the one to bring things up sometimes. When you can do that, you stop being one of many and start being the one that lingers in her mind. So if you're the kind of man who leads with quiet power, drop it in the comments. I move in silence. And what I'm about to show you next, let's just say, it separates grown men from emotional puppets. Stay close. Number 10. Keep some things to yourself. There's a quiet power in not saying everything. When you're an older man dating a younger woman, you might feel a pull to explain yourself, to make her understand your past, your intentions, your feelings. But here's the truth. Oversharing kills mystery, and mystery fuels attraction. Let's shift the frame. It's not about hiding who you are. It's about protecting your depth. Think of it like a vault, not because you're closed off, but because what's inside is valuable. You don't need to explain your every move. You don't have to break down your emotional landscape after every conversation. When she pushes for more, learn to smile and say, "Some things I keep for me." That sentence alone, it'll do more than 1,000 words ever could. Let me show you what that looks like in real life. There's Mike, 57, a gym owner in Colorado. He started seeing Jenna, 32, a social media consultant who loved deep conversations. One night over dinner, she asked, "What was your biggest heartbreak?" Mike paused. He didn't go into the whole story. He just looked her in the eye and said, "That chapter's closed. It made me who I am, but I don't live there anymore." He didn't get emotional. He didn't dodge. He just stayed solid in his boundaries. That right there? Respect. She didn't pull away. She leaned in because she sensed there was more, but she'd have to earn it. You don't owe anyone your entire story just because they ask. Being emotionally open doesn't mean being emotionally naked. The difference is control. And in that control, there's masculine energy, that stoic steadiness that says, "I know who I am. I don't need validation. I don't perform my life for others." You've lived more than she has. Use that to lead, not bleed. Let your presence speak louder than your words. Let your actions show your character. And when you do choose to reveal something, make it intentional, not reactive. You want her to feel that you're solid, not scattered. That you have stories, but they're not for everyone. That being close to you is a privilege, not a given. So next time you're tempted to lay it all out, don't. Hold some of it back. She'll feel it, and she'll want more. If this message spoke to you, don't just walk away. Subscribe to the channel right now so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you're ready to go deeper, to surround yourself with men who are building discipline, clarity, and unshakable presence, join the Stoic Brotherhood. Our private member community is where real transformation begins. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.